Warning: Creepypastas are works of fiction that contain elements of gore, violence, and other disturbing themes. Viewer discretion is advised. This is your last chance to return to the safer part of YouTube. If you are here by the end of this warning, then turn the lights down, turn the volume up, and enjoy the show.
Some people might tell you I'm crazy. Some might say I'm insane. I say I'm normal because I am. I am normal. But I'm also crazy, insane. And why can't I be all three? Why can't crazy be the norm? It already is. The most brilliant minds are also the most unstable. The more you know, the more you learn, the less you want to know. Please restrict yourself from reading these until it's between 3 or 4 in the morning. Do not read these if you have had an itch under your skin, behind your eye, on the back of your brain, etc. within the past hour. The more you follow those, the longer I can bring you more information. These are signs that you are being windowed. If you come across a story with the title from the lyrics of Pepper by Butthole Surfers, or one that opens up with, some might tell you I'm crazy, some might say I'm insane, I say I'm normal, followed by a line, see the previous instructions. If you come across a story that opens with, the following is a glimpse at the end of the universe, any and all attempts to stop what follows will falter, followed by a line, see the above instructions. The reason for such odd openings is so that you can easily recognize my work without giving away to others that it is my work. This is for my continued safety and your continued entertainment. This is the story of when I last did the window ritual. For those whom are unaware of it, the window ritual is a ritual that allows you to see through someone else's eyes. If you want an explanation of how to do the window ritual, of which is only known by the spirits of those of the true mind, I won't tell you. I'll leave the mystery a mystery. There I was, in another person's mind. Their eyes were mine, and I saw what I was never meant to see. It is theorized by many scientists that our isolation to our own minds means that one person's view is completely different from another person's, often demonstrated by what the color red would look like from person to person. But it goes much deeper than that. We all see different planes of existence. The plane I see is the plane most see, or as those of the true mind refer to it, Casus. Casus is a plane that most of us see because of evolution. Those that saw this plane stayed alive longer, as it is most useful of the planes, in a practical and social sense. But it is not entirely true, as there are planes much more useful than this one. But those who saw into those planes ascended, as you say. Casus is just one though, and there exists at least one person who observes each of the others on this earth. Most of those whom you'd call insane observe either the Gamma plane, called so because it was the third discovered other than our own. It was discovered by a Greek woman in ancient Greece, also known as Bacchus or Moses. The one I saw was a very rare plane, seen by many too people who weren't native to it, including myself. The other was starter of the true mind, who could see all planes in equal measure, native to none. This plane was named by him in his only recently found manuscript of the planes, Stagius. But enough lore. Lore is boring, and pounding you with the true mind's lore is probably bad for my health anyways. I found myself in another person's mind. Their eyes were mine, or did I already just say that? Stagius is best described as the uncanny valley plane. Think Casus, but everything a bit off. Just enough to be unsettled, viewing the entire world through the eyes of these would, of course, drive even the strongest minds to insanity. It was just so barely off. It's hard to describe just how it was wrong, but to my best abilities, it was like having white curtains, seeing them every day all your life, then one day, you find them green instead, and you can't think of any good reason why, but at a constant surprise and mistrust. Now, revisiting the last paragraph, and indeed the story, I needed rest. After a day or two, I realized that just typing an ominous sentence about it is just not the same as seeing it for yourself, nor the least bit creepy. But nothing can even come close to actually experiencing it, to actually seeing it. The whole room gave me an uneasy feeling, from the ceiling to the walls to the floor to the door to the occupants' occasional legs. Everything was like being wrapped in a warm blanket, only to realize later it was human skin and hasten pulling it off you and hate yourself for enjoying its warmth. Every time you look at it, you get a sick, revolting feeling, how easily your trust was misplaced. The man I looked through fidgeted and looked around frantically, as if looking for familiarity. He found himself particularly unsettling, as the few views of his legs, he was in a straitjacket, of course. He looked away immediately. To me, his legs were only as unsettling as the rest of the room, but if you find yourself unsettling, it'd make you more unsettled than the other things that give you the creeps. After several hours, the ritual lasting for a radiant amount of time, but for me 24 hours, the man quickly looked to the door. Because the ritual only allows sight, I could not hear the noise that brought about this action. But apparently the warden had brought a meal. The man stumbled over the tray from his corner and began devouring it, shivering from having to move towards such sights. The meal itself was a very foreboding supper, consisting of what looked like chicken, mashed potatoes, and green beans. The food was distorted. The chicken was clearly a chicken leg and breast, yet somehow I still couldn't be sure of what part of a chicken it could have possibly come from. The potato mound seemed quite regular, yet still found some way to be skewed naturally and going off at odd angles. The green beans were somehow normal, completely undistorted and not unsettling, which then gave me an unsettling thought of why. The following hours, the meal being relatively uneventful beyond the initial visuals, were just as uneventful. All that happened was the man stumbled back over to his corner and sat there. Only then did I realize that I hadn't seen him blink at all. The thought only dawned on me when I noticed you would be sleeping soon. The problem 24-hour windowing, let's call it, is asleep. The mind does not get rest during this, nor your stomach get the food or your thirst get water. Though it is not the longest the ritual can go for, it certainly isn't the shortest. Seeing the inside of someone else's eyelids can be a very boring event, but surprisingly, the man sat straight up, continuing to twitch and look around. For the next 13 hours, from a 6 p.m. dinner to a 7 a.m. breakfast, is what I'm going with. Nothing happened, and the sight still remained unsettling, like those curtains from earlier suddenly turning blue a few weeks later, but again, constantly. Again, a tray entered the room, but this time the man was looking at the door when it happened. As I expected, a small flap opened and a tray set in. Before the flap closed, I made out the waist of a person and could feel the uneasy making me piss myself. If every other person looked like this, I'd be insane too. If just the waist of another person made me piss myself, I'd probably shit bricks at the sight of a whole body. My mind was too paralyzed by fear to really see it clearly enough to describe it, but I don't think I could. The man sat there for a while, suddenly not moving. The best I could guess was that he was just as paralyzed as I was, until eventually he got up and moved over to the tray. It was then my trance was broken. I had a fellow member there to bring me out of it prematurely if something happened. and he took me pissing my pants as a sign to get me the hell out. I'm supposed to record what plane I saw in a tone of planes, and found it to be unmarked, meaning no one else has seen it and recorded it. If I wanted to, I could home in on the man I saw through, but I don't honestly want to go back to that plane. The guy goes into scary house, guy gets murdered trope pops into my head when I think about going back. My fellow members are currently taking a vote on whether they should send me back for the investigation on the man's whereabouts, so we can take him to gain much needed knowledge of his plane. But I don't want to. When dealing with just planes, they take a vote on whether to send them back or not if they don't volunteer, and the proceeding usually takes a few days. They review what I report seeing and decide whether or not it's worth risking my insanity or the loss of a member for information. They will probably vote yes, which is why I'm typing now. I read getting your traumatizing events out helps with coping, and a fresh mind is what I'll need if I'm going back in. The release of the verdict comes soon. God help me.